will they need? The president said, okay, I'm going to be the leader of the free world. I will send Abrams down the road if you send weapons now. Those weapons are getting sent now, and this is actually an example of Joe Biden rallying the global coalition to get Ukraine what it needs.
Yeah, it sounds like fuzzy math and bureaucratic subterfuge. Can I see those two tanks again, please? The Ukrainians wanted the good one, the M1A1 Abrams tank. Ever somehow we convinced them to take the funny leopard tank, which isn't that funny, but they're stretching this thing out. They're playing games with Ukraine, probably, and with us, the American people. And what is the result? A stalemate. Just a bunch of guys standing around. What is happening over there? And what is actually over there? What is over there? You know, some of our vested rights don't even know. Remember this last week?
One thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight them. Three things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants to fight for.
What a moment. What a moment. She doesn't even know the 3 provinces in Ukraine.
That's why frankly, no to what?
I don't, but, you know, it's not, I'm not president. And how many of those people can actually find Ukraine on a map? We have one of those special maps that does not have any countries on it, okay? Come on, be honest. Can you find Ukraine? Can you? How many people do you know can find Ukraine? All right, let's find which one is Ukraine. That's Ukraine, okay? You divide the country into provinces, and it's got a couple of dozen provinces, all special. What are the names of those provinces, ready? Now what about the ones on the eastern portion of the country? These are the ones that are really, really important, that are up for grabs, kind of, and our leaders don't know anything about it. What's the big word Ukraine from? By the way, flying around and, they don't know either. Look, the aggression is not good. It's not good. But we're not about to make a try. The problem is, he's got very strong ties to Iran. And if he does well in Ukraine, that means Iran will be even more on the rise. So we have big problems. I just don't know about these 2 leaders. I don't know about Joe Biden, and I don't know about Zelensky. You know, Zelensky, he canceled elections over there in Ukraine. It's all about democracy in Ukraine, but he canceled the elections? Come on, he can do better than that. Because even in war, you can have elections. But I'll show you something. In our country, since World War II, we have had plenty of wars, and it looks like we have elections all the time. And we've got to have an election during the war. Having a war is no excuse to not have an election. All right? Fair enough? Sure enough. And I also think maybe it's time to talk a little bit about peace. Because that's what the problem. You know who don't talk about peace? You know who. That's a good year.
Follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
thing.
let me just follow up.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. Dead dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want to stop dying. You know what's so brilliant about that answer? He's going to be president someday. Perhaps, right? I hope so. But, and he's campaigning like that, with that in mind. For all the talk about how he's a wild man, sooner or later he's going to sit down at the table. And if he says, I want Ukraine to win, or I want Russia to win, that could be used against him, and it could blow up or even just sabotage peace talks from the very start. We should have some peace talks, don't you think? All right. You look for Donald Trump for wisdom at a time like this. Do you look to Mitt Romney? Why would anybody look at Mitt Romney? Mitt Romney is a lame-duck senator. He is literally a loser. 2012 was a very winnable race. He lost it. Blames everybody else but himself. Candy Crowley, I don't know. But the fake news can't get enough of him. He was on Meet the Press, the big show, for 20
was a kid, there was something called a gumball machine. You could put a penny in and a gumball would come out. It was an automatic. There was no filter. Put in the penny, out came the gumball. Donald Trump is kind of a human gumball machine, which is a thought or emotion comes in and it comes out of his mouth. There's not a lot of filter that goes on. There's not a lot of what's the implications of it. He just says whatever.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why we like him. He doesn't just say whatever. We already went through with Ukraine and Russia, but he does share with us what he's thinking in the midst. What does everybody think of the room? I don't know. I know the implications to my future and my hair. So I worry about that stuff. Next, please.
I think we agreed when we have looked at his behavior, and his behavior suggests that this is a person who will impose his will, if he can, on the judicial system, on the legislative branch, and on the entire nation.
You know, the way he says it, it sounds so terrible, but isn't that really why somebody kind of gets into politics? You know, if you really want to make a contribution, it can be one of a couple of ways. I'm going to read it generously. Like, yes, this is leadership. It's not leadership. And it's not dictatorship.
There's no question he has authoritarian rulings and interests and those notions which he will try and impose. That's dangerous for the country.
Is this a dictator? Is this an authoritarian Donald Trump? People forget, or maybe they just weren't paying enough attention to this man followed the rules. He actually did. Granted, he was a very unique player, and also, you know, the conventions he sometimes blew off in a good way. But he knows about math, and he knows about the rules. Does this sound like a dictator?
And I'll sign the final papers as soon as I get into the Oval Office. And we will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there. And we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court, just like the band. They sued us in the Ninth Circuit, and we lost, and then we lost in the appellate division, and then we went to the Supreme Court, and we won.
Do you understand what I'm talking about? This is not the way a dictator speaks. He wants to win, but we may lose in that court, then we will appeal. This is not a monster. This is not an authoritarian. This is a guy who beat Hillary Clinton, and they will never, ever forgive him for that. All right, back to Mitt. Mitt. Okay, we know you don't like President Trump. We know he's dangerous, but how dangerous? That literally is the next question.
Drill down on you and just how dangerous, as you say, these people have Trump to be.
He's already said everything bad about Donald Trump he could say, but she wants to know just how much of a threat. You say a threat, but how much of a threat? The fake news, they are the worst.
I think if you can look at the last few months of his presidency, you'd suggest that that's the kind of thing you might see. That he would not have the generals around him as he did last time, people of judgment and experience offering advice, and in some cases restraining his impulses.
The generals were weeping and, quite frankly, incompetent, especially that General Kelly. He never should have been in that job. General Mattis was in way over his head. Who needs these guys? Donald Trump learned a very valuable lesson. The generals are the pits. They lost Iraq, they lost Afghanistan, but they were always lying to political leaders and to the American people. Who's he going to have? Who's Donald Trump going to have next time around if he gets in? Some awesome people. Rick Grinnell, Robert O'Brien, the National Security Advisor, Ben Carson, one of the finest men who ever lived in this country, and yeah, Tucker Carlson. That could happen. And I think he would bring a lot to the Trump administration if it happens. All right, actually, I got a couple more.
If we're being kind of like the president again, it is a campaign of retribution and anger and hate. That's not what America's based on. America was based on the idea of in God we trust and united we stand. Divided we fall. divided nation is not the nation America is intended to be.
All right, there's some things, unity for the sake of unity. We're not going to unify and say, well, we can have a half-open border. Or we can have drag queens show up and talk to our children in public schools. Some things we are not going to unify around, okay? Sorry, admit, for a guy who values unity, why did you take to the streets during Black Lives Matter summer? There you are, the ultimate pandering fool. Really, what? It's sad. It's sad. He wanted it so bad, but he really just is not cut out for public life. All right. And all the catastrophes that the world is seeing, he played a pretty big role in it. Look, there was a big case to be made against Joe Biden in 2020, right? I mean, real corruption, real problems, and Nick was making excuses for Joe Biden. Now he sees a problem.